Down.
Hello, hello, Tech Talk Live. This is Amy Masters, and today's special guest is Srea Jones-Harrington. Hello, Srea, how are you?
I'm doing great. Listen, I'm going to do this because
Yeah,
that was going to get on my nerves. I can't stare into the computer with my glasses on. So I'm
you
doing
guys
great. How are you?
Good. You guys have to know that I get excited about certain people that we bring on Tech Talk Live. And Saria has me more excited than ever on not only just who she is, but where she's going in our industry. So I have a little intro of Saria. You guys know that sometimes just before I go live, I do a quick Google search. Now, I already knew a little bit about Saria, but I found out a whole lot more. So here's my little intro to who she is. First of all, she's a vet. She has served our military for many years, and thank you for your service and your time and your dedication for all of us to be able to have the freedoms that we do. Appreciate it so very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then it goes into author, singer, songwriter, model, nail tech, instructor, head diva in charge, and CEO of Blog Talk Radio, and so much more. So I cannot wait to cover all these topics of how you ended up in the nail industry and how powerful you are and how you are making some strides for the rest of us in this industry. And I can't get past the word power. You just have your voice is powerful. You are powerful, and I'm excited to share that. So, Miss
You make
Rhea,
me excited. Like I'm excited to talk to myself after listening to you. Jesus, like who
you
couldn't? That's an
should be.
awesome
They say that we only live once, but how many times
intro.
do we feel like we have a new life in this one time that we've lived? And so with that, let's go back to the beginning of how did you get started in everything that you're doing?
Jesus. So, like you said, I am a vet. I got out of the Navy in 2006. I was living in Virginia. And, even while I was in the Navy, you know, I, so, I started off kind of as an ugly duckling. So, like, when I got pretty and all of that, like, I just really became girly. So, even on the ship, I was doing my nails. I was making sure I was within regs, but I'm doing my nails, I'm doing my hair. So it's not like it's like a far-fetched thing. I graduated from in Cleveland School of the Arts, high school, and I was a visual arts major. So, creating has always been my escape. So, from having a crappy childhood, which, not too many people don't think that their childhood is crappy, but, art was art was my expression. It was my escape. So getting into the nail industry at this point seems like it was the most natural thing. And it's like I just had to go through all of that other stuff so that I could be effective in the way that I want now. So, that's what happened. I went to culinary school. If you read my story, went to culinary school and everything was going beautifully. Again, I'm getting to create, and got stricken with blood clots just out of the blue. And so now, I'm 2 months away from graduation. And, in culinary school, you carry a knife kit. And now I'm on blood thinners. And they're
Yeah.
like, not so much, sweetie. And so it was even a struggle for me to graduate. But luckily, my GPA was very high. I was finished with, all the practical stuff. So I was still able to walk across that stage and collect my degree, but like really realistically working in that field is now, a mountain I didn't feel like climbing. I'll say that because I don't think that anything is impossible. Like, we do what we feel like doing. That it was not a mountain that I felt like climbing. And saw an ad in the paper for, a nail school and, promising for you to be ready to take this test in 4 weeks, which we all know is a bunch of malarkey. But you don't know what you don't know at the time.
Yes.
You don't know what you don't know at the time. And, like I said, I was a nerd. So, anything, okay, I'm going to learn. I've got my GI Bill. I've got some left. I'm just going to go for it. And it was a wacky go round from there. So, yeah, that's how I
Awesome.
started. I just stumbled into like probably the worst nail school ever. And, you know, years later, here we are. Like,
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned in your bio as well is that when you graduated, you obviously knew the type of education you were getting could be improved, but you also graduated not only with your nail tech license, but a nail instructor license. Like
yeah,
you went for both because you knew you can make a difference.
yeah,
And you mentioned that you went right back to the same school. And
yeah.
I love your story about where you how you applied and you you didn't how do I want to say this, or maybe you should say this, but you didn't wait for them to call you back when you found out there was many other
so,
applicants.
yes, so these are two different things. So when I graduated from nail school, uh, during, like I said, they promised 4 weeks. We all know that that just doesn't happen. Like it just doesn't happen. So during school, my instructor got sick. The owner and instructor of the school got sick. His wife, she ran the cosmetology program, but she was filling in for him, but she wanted to go to the hospital, obviously to be with her husband. So I came in and I was probably the oldest person in the room. And so she says, "Hey, can you teach the anatomy class tonight?" And I was like, "So I came to learn the anatomy to that." Like, I was like, I came to learn it. And so, but she had the cow eyes, her husband's in the hospital. She wants to go. And I just said, you know what? Go be with your husband, go check on him, let us know how he is. I've got the class. And as I taught myself, I started teaching my peers. And, he was in the hospital for a while. And by the time he came back and felt like he was ready to teach, one of my classmates was just like, can she just teach us the rest of this? So he immediately enrolled me. So it was a mistake. He immediately enrolled me into the other program as well. And so my very first hands-on, you class was the class that I was graduating. So that was a trip. Like that kind of stuff happens to me though. It's weird. It's wonderful, but it's weird. At this point, I'm used to it. But like in the beginning, I used to just think I was cursed. I was like, why? Like, why is this happening? Like, what is going on? But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's how that happened. And so I ended up taking both exams and passing both with flying colors and went right back there to teach. Now, the story about me not waiting, that's when I moved here to Colorado. I've been
Okay.
here in Colorado for 2 years, going on 3 years, February. And like I said, I came here to help my daughter with my grandbabies because her hubby was going on deployment. And I got sick, like with kid cooties. If listen to me, any of you that have had children in your home, kid cooties are the worst.
Yeah.
They get over it very quickly. The older you are, the longer it takes for you to get over it. Like, and I'm laid up for 5 weeks. And I finally go to the VA. And of course, with my luck, it's turned into a bronchial infection, like just all the worst crap you can imagine. Like,
Yeah.
really, from kid cooties, like that's how it happened. And, I've exhausted all my money. I've got no money. And so, I'm feeling better and I'm like, I need to work. And yeah, I went online to indeed.com, put up my resume and applied for a job. But I was just like, I don't, sometimes when you're desperate, like I had no money, like no money. Like there's nothing in the bank account. Like I'm turning out my pockets. I've already searched the couch for change. I've got no money. So I had
Yeah.
to do something. And on Indeed, it's this cool little feature where they show you how many other people have applied for the job. And so when I looked and it said that 6 other people had applied for their job, I was like, well, to crap with them. Like it was some more explicatives, but yeah, like, no, I've got no money. I need to work. So I just went in and, talked to who I thought was the receptionist and was like, I put in an application. I just wanted to see where I was going to be working. And, I find that when you hit people with things like that, like with pleasant things like that, it's so uncommon that they have no choice but to smile about it and respond in a positive way. So yeah, because you have to say something to stand out. Like you have to. Like our industry, like there's a nail tech around the corner, like, that has a new trick with, ladybugs and stuff. And it's like, so you have to stand out.
Yes, it's so true.
I find
And
that I'm
so
a better person.
yeah. And so walking in with confidence, I love that you didn't even have the job yet, but you were like, I just want to see, where I'll be working. And then obviously they were impressed and that's, the job that you got. And so
Because it like puts
I
them in the mind
love
of,
that.
for me, but it's like, why wouldn't you hire me? Like, so instead of you going into an interview feeling like, you're on the chopping block, understand that you're interviewing them as well. You have to be happy with where you're working at as well.
Yeah.
So your attitude is, why wouldn't you hire me? Like, I'm
Right.
awesome. So, just sometimes that 10 seconds of courage, because believe me, like I said, I'm diagnosed with depression and anxiety. Like there was a panic attack in the car right before I walked in. There was a, so don't think that I'm saying, hey, just buck up, Chuck, and no, there was a full on panic attack in the car before I got out, and just go for it. And so, my favorite, a quote from my favorite movie, like we bought a zoo and he's telling his kids, he's like, 10 seconds of courage sometimes is all you need to like change your life. So like, yeah, have your panic attack, like go through it, have it, but still do it. And so that's what I did. And I got the job. So
yeah. I don't know if you're watching on the screen. The hearts are flying. People, you were really. I told you guys I went in the beginning.
I'm trying
powerful. Yes, and so oh my goodness, and this is just the beginning of you guys understanding that Srea is one of those women that, like I said, has had multiple lives in this lifetime, and she's unstoppable, and she's not stopping yet. So let's go back to about 3 years ago. Let's talk about this head diva in charge, Sjhe.
The Chick Shit and Real
Sjhe.
Talk radio show.
So let's talk about that.
So the Chick Shit and Real Talk radio show was during a time where I was really, really feeling myself. And I had a friend, I have pretty long friendships. And so a friend of mine of 20 years, we met when we were in boot camp together. And what you need to understand is I was 27 when I joined the Navy. So I was the oldest one, I was the second oldest person in boot camp. And so, I'm with 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds and I'm 27. So, there was a whole dynamic with that as well. And so me and this girl, she is like my heart. We got back in contact and we're just talking. And I was like, you know what? I wish that other people could hear our conversation because it's just two friends that's known each other forever that, and she was having a rough time and, she reached out to me for whatever reason. And we literally came up with that in about 5 minutes. And so I'm a nerd. And so I'm researching, I'm up at night. Like it's an obsession. Like I get obsessed, because I'm like, I'm going to reach people, be able to talk to people and, just see how they're feeling. And, my goal is always to be the best part of your day so far when you meet me. And I just feel like if you have that goal, like how can you really go wrong? Like with that being your goal. You know what I'm saying? Like how can you screw that up if that's really your goal? So we started that radio show. I reached out to 2 other people that I'd known. And so they were all connected through me. They never met one another. And we just started this show. And it kind of took on a life of its own. So
I love it.
Never having done it before. So that's why, when I watch past episodes of Tech Talk Live, and you're having technical difficulties, I just crack up because I'm just like, oh my God, like I remember this, like it makes you feel like an idiot. Like you have a degree, like you can put, dolphins and roses on nails. You can build things out of acrylic, but we can't get the connection to stay right. Like, and so it's just one of those.
And you know what? You just roll with it. You just keep
going.
If I would have stopped, if I would have stopped at every time one of the videos and didn't go through or something and just stopped, like this is number 95. We've done I've actually done more. They've just been called Tech Talk Live. I've done 95. Before then, it was called Pop-Up Lives. If I would have stopped, I would have never followed through with this passion and meet the people that I've met and hear the power like what you have and being able to share that with others. I cannot tell you, it's overwhelming the feeling that I get every time I go live with somebody and get to share their story and hear it myself. And of course, the word power keeps coming into play today. It's just going to be my word of the day with you. One of the things that you said is that you have a goal every day, and it's to be, stand out when that person, be the person that makes the difference. I have that goal. I have come to realize that so many people do not get a hug. They do not get a good morning. They do not get a good night.
It's ridiculous.
Just the simplest of things. I am that person for so many people, and I never knew that. The power that we have that you've been able to use continuously throughout all your careers and everything, despite our health, is our voice. The power of our voice to be able to share what we call our nerdy nail knowledge or our nerd knowledge or just our love. And your power in your voice speaks unparalleled. And so anyways, I thank you for sharing your voice with that. And so whether
I need to record like that and just like play it back to myself like every
this
day.
is recorded.
Like when I am feeling
edit it down and play it back. And so with your determination and using your voice, despite what your health has done, obviously it might take you away from the table, it might take you away from teaching for a little bit, but you've been able to build this up to where it's continuous, it's ongoing, you have a team and you're still going forward with this. How do you balance the times that you're down? Do you still make yourself productive, or do you just disconnect and rest for a few days? How do you get yourself back?
So what happens, and I shared with you before, and I will share with all of you because I feel like just kind of being transparent is like the best way to do that. So I shared with you that for the last 14 weeks, I've been spiraling into what I call the dark place, into depression. And, many things triggered that. But I had this goal. You and I had already set up, our interview date. I had things that I needed to complete before then. I have a class that I'm trying to hold on Thursday. So it's just a lot of moving parts and I don't have time to be spiraling. Sometimes you just don't have time, to be going through this crap. It's not fair, but it's something that we can't help. And so we have to try to find a way to integrate it. But I noticed that I was having a problem getting things done. I noticed that, I was dragging. I noticed that. So, I happened to be cleaning up, and I came across a sticky note that I wrote to myself that says, "When's the last time you took your meds?" Because I am seen professionally, because I know that I can't handle this on my own,
Yeah.
and so with mental, medicine, usually you get a cold or you get sick, you take some medicine, you feel better. You don't have to take medicine anymore. Okay. And so but it doesn't work that way with depression and anxiety. Your medicine actually makes you feel better. So you are feeling bad, you take your medicine, you start to feel better. And so the norm in me says, okay, well, I can stop taking my medicine. That's not a true statement. Because the better you're feeling, it's because those meds are regulating you. But the control freak in us says we don't need this to keep us good. I'm feeling good, so I've got a handle on it. And people don't get that. They don't get that, somebody that's struggling with depression and any type of mental illness, if you were a person who is very used to being in control, that's a whole other thing within itself. It's a whole other thing, and people just don't get it. So, but I have to put my pride aside and say, you need to take your meds, chick, because it's just going to get worse. So it's been a struggle just these last weeks to accomplish the things I needed to accomplish, but there's something bigger than me. I love teaching people. I love this industry. I love my role in it. And I got grandbabies. I got 2 granddaughters. My oldest granddaughter is 7. And this is going to sound weird, but here's the deal. Like, she keeps me accountable because she's so excited that she has a Nana that does nails. Like, it's talking to her. It's like talking to an affirmation. So we'll be FaceTiming, and she's like, we can be talking about anything, and she'll just say, Nana, you're going to be really rich one day. And I'm like, oh my God, I'll take it. And I'm like, well, why do you say that? She was like, because you do awesome nails. She was like, and you just make people feel good, and people like to feel good. And she was like, and so they're going to come to you. Like, how touching is that? And so then we'll be talking about something else. And then she'll say something like, so Nana, what did you do for your nail business today? Like, what kind of a question is that for a 7-year-old to ask? But if I haven't done anything, and I'll be like, well, I didn't really do anything. And then it's and then she'll move on to another subject. But it's that judgmental, I'm disappointed. So my granddaughter keeps me that's my why, because I have to be an example for these young ladies that you can do what you set your mind to. And there are going to be roadblocks. It's not easy, but who promised us that? Who promised us easy? At any time, I defy you to find any scripture, any scroll. It doesn't exist. So at some point, you have to roll with your own punches. It's ugly.
Sometimes it is. Yeah.
It's not.
And we tend to beat ourselves up more than anybody would ever beat us up.
Oh, God.
And so to have the unfiltered part of a 7-year-old, have that inner voice that she doesn't have to worry about what you're going to think when she says it, and just says, I wish that we could be more real like that sometimes, because if our friends could voice to us sometimes of, what are you doing for yourself today? What did you do for your nail business today? We don't do that as friends. We are like, hey, let's go have coffee. We do the other side of the light side, the generic side. But to have that raw inner voice come from your own family member, that's so touching. I love it.
But it's I know that it sounds touching, but it makes you feel like a heel if your answer is, I haven't done anything. Because this little girl is holding me accountable. So that's my why, and sometimes your why has got to be bigger than you. It can't be, I want to buy a speedboat. I
You
mean,
still
it
got to
can't
take the steps to get it done. Right.
it
So
can't be. I don't want to like step on anybody's why, but it has for me. It has to mean something, and showing that, like, she thinks I'm a fairy princess unicorn, and I want her to think that for as long as she can, and that I have the magical powers of just making everything happen. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and you're setting the standards for her as well. You're paving that way for her to see that if you put your mind and your dedication to something and you speak the truth, you do what you say you're going to do, that
yeah,
she's going to follow those same steps because she didn't want, just like me, she didn't want to be like you. So Amanda says, keep it real. Barbara is on here, who is also from Colorado. I don't know if you guys have met yet,
Barbara.
Barbara, but she says, failing forward, love
Yeah,
it, our voice
yeah.
in our hearts. But Rose is on here and she says, I'm so having that issue right now, not feeling well, and I don't feel like I did my best work on a couple of girls. I guarantee my work and I really want them to come in. And so I redo them, just hoping that they understand. And you know what? Sometimes on our weak moments like that, we have to be open and honest and just say, I'm not quite sure. My mojo's not here today. I did give my
Mhm.
best work, but in hindsight, I just feel like I didn't do my best. And I've done the same thing. I've brought people back in saying, I would really like to pamper you a little bit more. I
Yeah,
don't feel that I did enough.
and
And
that's
you
the
know what's
right thing to
amazing?
do.
Their feedback to me is like, are you serious? You've already treated me better than any other tech I've been to. But yet I felt like I gave my worst and they
Right.
feel like they got their best. Sometimes just that communication of saying, you know what, today is not my best day. And I apologize that you were scheduled on a day that I didn't give my best. I want you to come back in. I want to pamper you some more. And so Rose, I think the for me, the biggest thing is just being honest about it. You
Mhm.
guys know I have lots of health issues. I'm not on my best every single day. And I'm honest with my clients. But you know what? My worst day is sometimes better than anybody else in my area's best day. And
Yeah.
they know that. And they lift me up and they're okay with that. And so we just have to voice that out.
Rose, darling, listen. I am not at all, I'm just honest with my clients. I have a bond with my clients. My clients know that when they come to me, it's just about so much more than the nails. So if you've taken the time to build that rapport with your clients, then they do understand that and they appreciate the honesty. And like
Yeah.
Amy said, a lot of times, we are so much harder on ourselves. We think that we've just, jacked it up and given our worst. And they're sitting there completely impressed that, we've pushed through and done it. And, we become inspirational in that manner. So, yeah, just being honest with your client and saying, you know what, I suck today, but
Yeah.
here we are. And I'm going to buck it up and I'm going to still give you the best of me. Sometimes just being honest and saying it out loud and not trying to hide it, from
Mhm.
your client, you know, and that especially works with a picky client too, because even when I'm not, listen to me, listen, we have to share secrets. Okay. Even when I'm feeling absolutely wonderful, we all have that client that we're just like, okay. So when I'll use it on them to listen here. Like I can't deal today. Like I
Yeah.
just can't deal today, and they'll be like, "Okay, SJ, fine, just do what you want." Like I'm always in control of the table. Like I have to
Yeah.
be because like my
Oh,
emotions can be all over the place, and I'm an empath, and so that means that I feel everything, and it's just ridiculous. Like it can be like the nail game can be like seriously interesting. I'll use that word. It can
yeah.
things can happen to you in the nail game that you just never thought or could prepare for. So yeah, just be honest with them. Let them know you're having an off day, and just give a little extra pampering. They'll appreciate it and they'll keep on coming back because no one else is doing that. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
There's so many comments on here, Srea. I can't even keep up. So you're going to have to go back through the comments and read some of these that are on here. Like Anita Jones is on here, and she's also a person that's a power. But I want to focus back onto you because I know we're only limited to about an hour on these tech talks. And we've only talked a small portion of the power of your voice. So at some point in time, you decided that your voice needed to be written, that
Yes.
it needed to be further than what you could do in videos, and you've created some books and you've already have one out. Do you want to talk about what it took for you to put things in writing, to put your voice into writing, which is very hard because I'm in the middle of doing that,
Yeah.
and then how to get it out there, and then it took you into doing it again. So obviously you have so much inside of you that you want to get out. And that's also a good thing, that on our days that we're away from the table, that we're not able to work, we can
Hmm.
still feel productive. And you found that niche, you found a way to do that. How did you do that?
So, like I said, teaching is my thing. I love doing nails, but I also love teaching nails. And I started off, like I said, in the nail school. So I was teaching the basics. But I wanted to further myself because I know that, there aren't too many nail techs that have a good nail school story. Like, all of us, listen, we're just, I don't know how to do anything but kind of keep it real. Like, our schooling is meant to teach us how to pass those exams.
Yeah.
It is very conceivable that a person can graduate from school and not really know how to do a set of nails, which means that, yeah, they have this license, but now they have no way to make money. And so I kind of put myself back in the role of a student because I wanted to elevate my skills. And then I just wanted to to be able to speak from experience when I'm teaching. I found that that's always the best. I'm not teaching from a book. Of course we're using our textbooks as the guidelines, but I want for new nail tech students, even vet techs that find themselves in a rut, to understand that sometimes just getting yourself back to the basics that we didn't get in school will just further you. It'll take you so much further. It doesn't have to be hard. So the first ebook that I wrote, The Basics of Rebooking in the Nail Game, is because something that I found out when I was teaching in the schools, most students that go to nail school, it's because, they're an artist and they love to paint nails. They don't understand that, we've got to learn anatomy. We've got to learn, diseases and disorders. We've got to learn a lot of stuff. And so it can be overwhelming. But what we also need to be learning is how to deal with clients, and that's something that they don't teach you that in school. So an exercise that I made up in my class was, for their homework, they had to say hello to 5 complete strangers and just let the conversation go where it was going to go. If it didn't go anywhere, then that's fine. But you're carrying a nail kit. You're wearing a uniform that says you're in nail school. I guarantee you, if you say hello to somebody, someone's going to ask, hey, you're a nail student. And that is how you carry on a conversation. And it was so successful because most of my students were like, they were afraid to speak to people. And so here's the thing. You can't do nails if you're afraid to speak to people, because nails are on people. So, if you can't say hello, and that's why I made the exercise so easy. If you can't just go say hello to 5 people, then how are you going to, advertise your business? How are you going to be able to do anything else if hello is like giving you the heebie jeebies? So I decided to put that in a book, in an ebook.
Yeah.
And yeah, so because it's at this point, and you're talking to a shy girl, the ugly duckling, the nerd. I told you, like, this was not easily come by. So anybody out there, if you think that you're going through a yuck phase, you probably aren't. But if you think you are, just keep on pushing through it, because there's going to come a time where you're going to be able to look in that mirror and going to love what you see. And then you're going to want to share it. And that's what happened. I want to share. And I love being in a classroom, But, that's not always possible. It's not always possible for me to physically be in front of people. So what better way to do that? We live in a technology age. So it's like, okay, chicks, sit down, put your knowledge, in a book, put it in a class, in a video. And so that's what I did. I'm a nail tech. I'm not an author. I'm not a videographer. Like, so you got to teach yourself how to do all of this stuff. But it's so worth it because it ends us up in places like this. Because when I reached out to you, full on panic attack before I hit that send button to you, full on panic attack. And you can tell them, I went out on a limb. I was like, I love this lady. I respect her. Sometimes it's just going out on a limb, and even if you fail, like, so what? Like, you did it. Like, you get to check that off. Like, you did it. Because how about this? What if you don't fail? Like, some people are just as afraid of success as they are afraid of failure.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's a real thing. That it's a real thing, because it's like, can I do this again? Was this just a fluke? Will I be able to duplicate this process? So it's just, you got that 10 seconds where you're just like, I don't want to just be surviving in this world. And like I said, I'm thinking about that phone call with this 7-year-old. Like, like, I want to teach her that she can do anything. And like, how can I do that if I'm afraid to just, kind of reach out there? So, I got a lot of stuff working in this brain, and just all at the same time.
So obviously in the comments, you guys know that we're going to put the links into how to get a hold of Srea's, everything from her Instagrams to everything that she has. Let's talk about, how did you come up with the title and everything for the first book? And then now you're coming out with your second book. How can they get your book?
You can get my book by going on my website. It's nailtherapy101.com. So look, like I said, I don't build web pages. So like, I'm just a girl doing her best. Okay. So I'm a girl doing her best, but yeah, nailtherapy101.com. And so I did something. I put Rebooking in the Nail Game on sale for 2019, because it's the first ebook that I've written in 2019 that furthers my goal of just teaching. I want to be right in that in between where I'm teaching you how to make money with this new license that you just got, or I'm teaching you how not to give up, or I want to actively be teaching something, because it makes me feel good to do so. Like, a candle doesn't lose any of its flame by lighting other candles. It just spreads. So, a lot of times in our field, we can come across people who are kind of selfish with their information, which I guess I get it. I get everybody is at their level. They are where they are. I'm just at the level where I want to share. So Rebooking in the Nail Game. So I came up with that because I have some goals when I'm teaching. I want to help you master the basics. I want to help you grow your clientele. I want to help you increase your bank account, and I want to help you build your business. So every class that I put out or ebook that I put out, it is to those 4 ends. Like I said, I came here to Colorado with nothing. I had an air mattress. I had nothing, no clientele, nobody. And so 2 years later, I have a nice clientele. I don't have a full book. I'm not where I want to be, but the steps that took me, from making zero money to just being able to, get my own place, get myself back on my feet. Because what a lot of people don't know is when I got sick in 2013, I lost everything. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything, because we're trying to diagnose and see what's up. So it's very important to me to be in a position where, okay, if my physical being can't get around, I can still use this brain. I can still touch people. I can still help people, in an industry that just can kind of seem to eat you up sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just my goal. So, rebooking in the nail game, I was like, people need to know that this is a game that we're entering. That's how I look at it. It's a game. Just got to figure out the rules. That's all. You don't got to complain about the rules. You just got to figure them out. You just got to master them and just play by them. And like, you can go anywhere that you want to go in this industry, but a lot of people are still worried about, what to charge for their gel manicure. Like, you have to move past that. Like in the groups that I'm in, and I love the groups, I think that sometimes when I answer in the groups, I can come off a little abrasive. And I don't mean to. So for anybody that's like ever like felt like I was coming off abrasive, it's just, I love the industry so much and I want you to succeed so bad. And just, it comes from the heart. And so I try to understand that sometimes I can be a force and I have to like bring it back a little bit. So the books are a good way to do that, because you can listen to me. You write an ebook, like you gotta humble yourself, because now you're testing your own knowledge. Like, I've got to, I'm writing a book. It can be, a debilitating thing, especially with the depression and everything else. But again, it's that why. I want to reach people. I want to help people. I want you to have whatever it is that you want in this industry. And if I can do something that helps you get there, well, then the day is just even grander, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. You're speaking to my soul. You've made me emotional. I almost just had a breakdown. I relate with every single word that you say, and I know that so many of the people watching can relate with that as well. I've shared my story this last year. You guys know that my health, the same thing, has taken me away from the table periodically over the last few years, but I've been away from the table for 7 months. Actually, this is the 8th month, and it's been very hard. And the dignity in me, that voice where I feel like I'm at my bottom, says I'm not done yet. I haven't shared enough yet. And so I'm trying to do more workshops and I'm trying to do more in writing, because just as some of the leaders that we've had before, like Vicky and Debbie and people who have made a difference in our industry, I want to be one of those people. And I know that you, even though you're still newer in the industry, you are going to be one of those people. You've already done it. You've already helped pave the way for so many others. And I can tell you, it's interesting that my family knows that I love them. Every single one of them know to the depth of my core that I love them. But I don't think the nail industry understands my passion and how much I love this industry and that I want to give back, because I've done this for 27 years and my family has made a living being in this industry. I want to give back and help be that same person. And so this last go round where I haven't been able to work, that was it. I was like, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
I have not voiced enough yet. And that's been that little inner dignity drive that I have that is unstoppable.
I'm telling
As
you.
you said, it's so powerful when you can share that. And when you were talking, you were just, man, as other people are saying on here, you're talking to me. I'm like, no, she's talking to me. So I love that you've been able to share your voice and your knowledge, and not just freely. Like, I wish I could be a client at your table and being able to sit there with
Listen,
you.
we have
Energy about you that's amazing.
we have the best nail sessions. I love
Yeah.
my clients. I get, and like I said, I want to be the best part of their day. You don't know what happened to someone right before they walk through your door. You have no clue what's going to happen to them when they leave your chair. So for that time that they're with me, I need to be the best part of their day. Like, they're coming to me to get pampered anyway. So not only am I going to slay their nails, like, we're going to, it's girl world when you step in here. Everything is safe. You can talk about what you want to talk about. And we're just, we're going to tough it out. And I've had the first time a client told me, we had finished with their service and everything, and it was time for her to pay. And she paid me, and she was just like, but I don't want to leave you yet, though. She was
Yeah.
like, I still want to talk. And it makes me feel wonderful that, because everybody, listen to me, everybody thinks that they're a great person.
Yeah.
We all we all want to be a great person, but if the only person that's telling you you're great is yourself, then I'm gonna say, okay, I'm all for the positive affirmations. I'm all for it, but I'm gonna need you to like go outside and get some outside proof. And so when people, come to almost rely on you for that, that's something else that pushes me through, because you don't want to seem weak and you don't want to seem vulnerable. And,
Yeah.
even though I'm honest with them, I need them to know that I'm here for them. It's about, like I said, it's about so much more than the nails for me. It's about how we get to make people feel. And, when you can take I had a 13-year-old client that told me, she said, Miss Sjhe, before you came into my life, I just had boring nails. And I was like, oh, and she sent me a text and was like, her popularity had gone up like 2% in the last 2 days because of her nails. And you're talking to a nerd, like a girl that was invisible in school. So like to have a 13-year-old, like, just be like, your nail art, even my teacher can't wait for me to get my nails done. It's just the glow in her. It's being responsible for that. Like, what can be better to be responsible for than, some, queen walking out,
Mhm.
feeling a little bit better than she did when she walked in. Like,
Yeah.
for me, that's the thing, So with my clients, that's the thing. With my students, it's just helping you be who you want to be, in this industry. And I'm not all the way where I want to be. So it's not about that. It's not, none of us are perfect. If we're smart, we're always learning. You're
Mhm.
always looking, to take yourself to that next level. Once you get comfortable at one level, it's time to challenge yourself and go to the next. I'm taking your class and I'm going to tell you that I wanted to just pull every one of these locks out at week 4. Because again, I'm in a transition, so it's a little different for me. My numbers are a lot lower in a lot of things
Mhm.
because of the
Yeah.
transition of me not working in a salon anymore and transition to my home. But I thought that I went deep. Like I said, I'm a nerd. And
Mhm.
but you went even deeper. And that's what
Mhm.
I mean. We have to be willing to be coachable. We
Yeah.
have to, like, it's too much. It's too much to just think that, especially if all you've done was graduate from nail school. I'm sorry, sweetie, you're gonna need to take some other classes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just are. You just are, but I'm
Yeah.
taking a class, and if anybody isn't, listen to me. Whew.
So
Those
So
numbers.
Srea's talking about keeping profits in your pockets, and this is a
Yeah.
class that's been in the making for years. And if you've taken it, you know the years that I've put behind it. And it, it is a class that I think a lot of people are afraid to take because it makes them do. There's a lot of homework to it, but boy, is it powerful. And when you come out of this class, the confidence that people have and knowing how to charge, what to charge, knowing their costs,
Mhm.
knowing how to break it down, and the smarts and the nerd part that comes with that is unbelievable. It's my favorite class to do because I know that setting people up for success, if you don't know the business side of it, you can put the greatest nails out there. You never know if you're charging the right amount. You don't know how to market yourself. You don't know how to price yourself. But what it really comes down to is the confidence of knowing that. And every person that comes out of this class always sends me about the same message. I had no clue. Thank you.
Mhm.
Now I do. And that confidence that they get from that. But once again, it's us putting our voice out there and our knowledge of like you said, your experience. It's not just what was in the book. It's just not
Mhm.
what the accountant told you. It's the experience that you've experienced behind the scenes as well that helps set you up for success. And it's us networking together to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We said that Barb is on. So I met
Yes.
Barb, and I kind of unofficially like made her my mentor when I was here because I was like going crazy. I was like, I was working in a salon, and don't get me wrong, I love the people that are in the salon. And it is my suggestion that, somebody that's newly graduating from nail school, that they go work in a salon for as long as they can handle it. And just because there's a different level of experience that I feel like you need to have, before, you go into doing it on your own. Like I said, some people graduate not even knowing how to do a full set. So, you're not going to know how to just create your nail business at home, So I feel like earn while you learn. Go into a salon,
Yeah.
get trained. You have people there, that are experienced that can correct you right then. You're still making money, you're still learning. So that's just my suggestion. But having said that, understanding how hard it is for some of us to work for other people. And
Mhm.
so,
Yeah.
that's a thing. That's a real thing, and you
Yeah.
have to get over that, if you're gonna, like I said, I put myself back in the role of a student because there was another level that I wanted to get to, and sometimes that is what you have to do. So if there's another level you're trying to get to in your nail business, it may just be necessary for you to put yourself back in the role of a student, find a class, you know what I'm saying? No matter what that class is, whatever it is, I don't think you can learn too much.
Right.
That's just one thing that can't happen, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I take pride in what I do, and I care about my clients. I want to be able to truthfully tell my clients, you got the best nail tech, that you can have. And, I don't know if you can see my brag wall back here, but I wholeheartedly promote the brag wall, because it gives your customers a sense of, comfort, instead of if you just have, a rinky dink table set up in the corner of your house, if it's professionally, and you have the certificates, you have your license up, give people that comfort, So that's what works for me when it comes to that. And I know I tend to ramble. So anytime, just like stop me.
No, I love it. I apologize. There's so many comments that are coming through, and some of them, like, I'm just looking for questions at this time. If there's any questions, the rest of this is just positive affirmation that you're on the right track, because all of these people can agree with you that we're relating to you. You're touching
Mhm.
us, and I love that you reached out. I've only had a couple of people reach out and say, "Hey, I was wondering if I could be a guest on your show." And before I respond, I do a little homework. And I don't care if you're a brand new tech. I don't care if you've been a tech as long as I have or longer. I don't care what your level is in the industry. If you have a story to tell and you're confident in what you're saying, I want to share it. I've had techs that are in school and they're struggling because if it wasn't for the nail groups, they wouldn't even know what the next step
Mhm.
is because they're not learning that in school. And so, it was interesting that somebody had made a post yesterday that said, I am tired of like all these nail groups, or I'm getting the verbiage wrong, but that these people are asking some questions that they should have learned in school. Well, one, sometimes we've been out of school long enough that we've forgotten. Or two, we didn't
Yeah.
have the following and the training and the mentorship. That thank goodness that we have groups like Tech Talk Worldwide, where we have an admin group of all of us of all different levels, and every single one of us as an educator. Every single one of us has been in the nail industry for many years, all around the world, that can share that knowledge, let alone all the people that are in our group as members. You have to have that mentorship. We
Mhm.
have to share our knowledge. If you're keeping that in, you're being selfish. And I hate
Absolutely.
to say it that way, but that's and anything in life. If you have a tip that can help somebody mow a yard, you see them
Darling,
struggling every time they mow their yard, and you can go out there going, "Well, did you know that if you push this button, it's on an auto thing?" Help them.
why wouldn't you
Let's
help?
help
Like,
each
just
other.
why
Yeah.
wouldn't you? And that's, like I said, that's one of the things you get to choose what type of nail tech you want to be. Are you the nail tech that's just kind of the order taker that, people can just come in and kind of run your table? Or are you the nail tech that cares about your business, but at the same time, you care about your client? You're going to do that consultation. You're going to take that extra step to make that client feel special, because otherwise they can go anywhere else to get their nails. They can go to, we've all seen the shops, we they can go there and just feel like, a number. If they're coming to you, then, there needs to be something that they can get from you that they can't get in that shop. And a lot of times it's going to be sincerity. It's going to be listening to them. An advantage that I had when I worked in the shops, I was working in Vietnamese shops. And so that's a whole dynamic within itself. The only Black girl
Yeah.
in Vietnamese owned shop. And so, the reason that I have them call me Sjhe is because there is no Vietnamese translation for the alphabet. So you gotta say Sjhe, and that my ears is up because I need to know, because of stigma, that they have in those shops, is that a lot of times they're not speaking English, they're not speaking to their clients, they're speaking amongst themselves. So as an American who, a Black girl who has the opportunity to be in there, one of the strengths is that I can actually talk to you. I can, and that's just what it is. You use what you got, so you have to find what it is. And the thing is, a lot of people were, that made appointments were like, I'm really just happy that there's somebody that I'm sure can understand me. So we have to use it all. That means you got to be talking. Now, what if I was the type of tech that didn't talk to my clients? First of all, I don't know how that happens. If I'm doing it, listen, people come to us with apologies on their lips, about the conditions of their nails and their feet and all of that stuff. You are not expecting me to like pull out my magic Harry Potter wand and Expelliarmus, all the crap that you've done to your feet, and you're not going to talk to me. If I'm doing your pedicure, we're speaking. We're talking. Like, you're either telling me your life story or I'm telling you yours. But like, you don't come to me with that and, treat me like the help. So now during the massage, I clam it because that's their time. But yeah, other than that, I'm, while I'm scraping all the crap off your feet, life that you've put on them. Yeah, we're going to talk. Kind of a bully that way. We're going to talk. We're going to have a conversation about something. So
I
I'm
love
always
it.
in control at my table. And that's what I try to put into my books and, rebooking in the nail game. The class that I'm having on Thursday is about dipping in the nail game because dipping has made a resurgence. And it's here to stay, and when people do research about it, you get some YouTube videos and stuff, and that's great. But no, despite the title, it doesn't tell you everything you need to know. So the nerd in me, and because I love this technique, the nerd in me was like, you know what, there needs to be a class. And I can't find one, so I'm going to create one. And so sometimes it's just about finding, like I said, I want you guys to make money. I don't want you to leave any money on the table. I don't, and a lot of times we can do that because, nail techs, we get very, very used to what we're used to. And so something that seems kind of new, we can be we can be holding up the skull and crossbones to it, like, no, new technique, I don't want to learn, but the artist in me just has to do it. And I was like, well, maybe the reason I have to do it is because I'm supposed to teach it. I'm supposed to teach people. And so that's where we are. Like, it really is very selfish. I'm not as good as I seem. I want, it makes me happy to make other people happy.
Yes. And anytime we see somebody give their all and they listen and they're respectful, then that's what it is. That's what attracts us to keep going back. They might not do the best. They might charge a little bit more, but because we felt respected, we got a little bit pampered, we got listened to, that right there can make that can raise you above anybody else around you. Oh, I love
Absolutely.
it. I love it. Srea, you have this it factor that I
Oh my
am so
goodness.
attracted to. I can't wait to continue watching more and more of what you have, on your goal list and what you're going to be able to accomplish. And I love the power that you have and the self-confidence, even, what is it? The CEO and head diva in charge.
Yes,
I love that. I wish that I had that kind of confidence. I feel it sometimes on the inside, but it just takes time. But it takes time of putting yourself out there. Like you said before, and I say this a lot, sometimes we have to be vulnerable to put ourselves
mhm,
out there of the rawness and say, you know what, yeah, this has sucked and I have done this and this is what I did wrong. Here's where I picked up my big girl panties
yeah,
and I went back on my way and I tried it again. And now I'm here to tell you and share with you the experiences along the way. And not saying that one way is right or one way is wrong or whatever. It's just your way. It's your journey.
mhm.
It's what you're doing. And what you're doing and how you're doing it is so powerful. And I thank you for sharing your voice and your journey with us, not only here in
Absolutely.
TikTok, but obviously in many of the other groups as well. Um, Oh my gosh, I could talk to you all day long. I love it. And so, any kind of last thing that you would like to share with us?
I just, well, so besides this, because I really do want to get this out on Thursday, I'm going to be holding a live online class of dipping in the nail game. So, and it will be usually $150, but I'm doing a special for $99. I want people to learn this. So if you have an interest in it, if you're trying to add this, to your service menu, but like you said, you can't find anything other than YouTube, go ahead over to my website, nailtherapy101.com, and there's a little box that'll go ahead and get you pre-registered in. I have the basics of rebooking and the nail game is also on sale, and I'm working on a second ebook, so you guys go and check that out. But here's what I want to say, to all the nail techs out there, especially you new guys or guys that are in school. What you're feeling right now, the frustrations and all of that stuff that you're feeling, it's 100% normal. I guarantee you that, the issues that you may be facing in school, whether it's, they're not giving you product to work with, or, whatever, just anything you can think of, every single nail tech has been through it. So you're not alone. A lot of times it's going to take you just getting that confidence built up in yourself. If you're waiting until you're no longer afraid to do something before you make a move, you're never going to make a move. So sometimes you just got to do it scared, you know. 10
Yeah.
seconds of courage is all it takes sometimes. So, have your panic attack, have your shot, do whatever it is you need to do to get through it. And then just give yourself that 10 seconds to forge ahead and you're going to do great. So, and we're
Oh,
here to help. So,
yes, yes, absolutely. Sari is available. Obviously, you guys can private message her as well as I. If you have any questions and you're watching this on replay, you might want to tag our names so it will show us in the notifications, because if not, we don't always see them, or
right.
private message us or email us through our websites. Um, Sarea, you are amazing. And once
Oh,
again,
thank
thank you for
you.
your service. Thank you for your continued just using your strengths and sharing that with the rest of us. You're very inspirational, and I thank you for your time
Oh,
this
wow.
morning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank
So,
you.
with
Thank
that
you
being
for giving a
said,
girl a chance. So,
yeah. Oh, that's what all of this is about, is we don't know until we actually step out to take that chance. And I'm learning every single day too, so yeah, and it takes networking to do that. So today is one of those special days where we're doing a back-to-back tech talk. Holly Shippers is my next one, and you guys know that she's very is another one that is using her voice to make a difference in this industry and paving the way for a lot of us. So I invite you to come back in about, I think it's about 30 minutes that we start with Holly. And then Surya, I'll see you live and keeping profits in your pockets this afternoon. And so it's just one
Absolutely.
of those days. And just thank you so much for reaching out to me. You are a gem in our industry, and I look forward to just continue watching you shine. And I would love to have you back on Tech Talk Live again, maybe after the release of your next book, and kind of see, what steps have you taken next, and just continue to share your
Absolutely.
story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You guys, thank you. Have a great day. And like I said, you can, if you have the time, come back and watch on replay, or you can join me in about a half an hour with Holly Shippers with Nail On. So, all right. Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.